Good morning, students. Am I audible? Okay, good. So, in our last class, we have discussed about the circuit switching network. Okay, so let me show you what we actually discussed. So, in circuit switching network, as you can see in this particular slide, the communication will be happening something like this, which is shown on this diagram. Okay, so when let's say a person A wants to communicate with a person B, first they need to first establish a connection between them, a physical connection. Remember this word, physical connection. So that means physically communication channel will be dedicated for these two people to communicate. So whoever is there in between, that means whatever device is there in between, the device must provide the communication path for A and B. So first A will send a request to B. So whoever receives that request, they will reserve path for them, path for this particular communication. Okay. Then once B receives the request, B will send a reply saying that, okay, I heard you and I'm ready to receive you. Okay. Then the connection establishment part is over. Connection setup part is over. Then A will send whatever data it want to transfer. So in this particular diagram, we are just showing a one-way transfer. It may happen two-way also. That means when A sends something, B can also send a reply data. Okay. So that's what normally happens. So in this particular case, we assume that only A has some data to send to B. So what A will do is A will send the data after the connection establishment, and it will not close the connection normally. Okay, because if you close the connection, sometimes there may be a chance of closing the connection before the data even transferred to the destination completely. So what happens is B will, once B receives the data, B receives the data, immediately B will initialize the closing part. Okay, so even A can initialize the closing the connection. Okay, so what he will do is either A or B will send a close request or exit packet. Okay, so which will go through all these intermediate nodes. So these nodes will identify that, okay, so these A and B are done with the communication, so we can uh, remove whatever we are allocated those two. So this switch has allocated some channels, this switch has allocated some channels, so those switches are going to reallocate them. So they are going to free them so that they can allocate them to someone else. So the best example for this circuit switch network is a telephone network. So telephone network, if you take normally you will dial some number. Once you are done with the dialing, there will be a gap between the dial and the ring that you receive. So that gap is nothing but the time taken by this connection establishment. So you only hear the ring once the call was completely, once the path was completely established between A and B. Once you start listening, then that means, okay, the connection establishment part is over. Okay, but not 100%. So there is one more percent remaining. That is nothing but the receiver needs to attempt the call. Once the receiver attempts the call, then the connection establishment is 100% over. Then you will speak whatever you want. Let's say it is one-way communication. You call your friend, you said something, you that's enough. There is no reply from the other person. There is no need for any reply from the other person. He just need to listen those things. So once he is done with listening, he will cut the call. So that cutting the call will be reflected at each and every switch, and finally you will hear that the call was disconnected. So that is what is happening in circuit switch network. Okay, so in this class we are going to discuss about the remaining two types of networks. So as you can see here, In this class, we are going to discuss about virtual circuit networks and datagram network. First, we will be discussing about datagram networks. Then we will be discussing about virtual circuit network in this class. So today, we are going to have two sessions. So one session 10 to 11, the other session will be 12 to 1 as usual as per my timetable. Okay. So first we will concentrate on datagram approach. So it's very easy to understand, but virtual circuit approach is little bit difficult to understand, but they are very important in this particular unit, virtual circuit networks. Okay. So let's start with the today's session, datagram switching. Okay. So which is also see this datagram switching and virtual circuit switching are both part of packet switching. Okay. So first we will see what is meant by packet switching. Then we will see what is meant by datagram switching or virtual circuit switching. So packet switching. So packet switching is completely opposite of circuit switching. Okay, so it is completely opposite of circuit switching. So what happens in packet switching? In packet switching network, there is no resource reservation. Okay, that means previously, if you take our voice call, what happens is immediately the links will be dedicated for you from your phone to your friend's phone for the entire call. But if you send an SMS, it happens like that. If you send SMS, if you send say an SMS which actually a long message which actually splitted into 10 SMS, those 10 SMS will be transferred differently. Okay, so if you observe, sometimes your friend will receive, let's say if you have one big message which is splitted into 10 parts, so it is 1 by 10, this is second of 10, this is third of 10, and so on. You have 10 by 10. Is there any guarantee that these messages will be received in the same order? So can anyone experience this particular thing? Okay, so I want to know, if you send an SMS which actually, I mean a single message which actually divided into 10 different SMSs because of their maximum length, will they be received in the same order on the receiving side? So yeah, some people responded. It said, so they will not be received in the same order. You may be able to see this if you are very familiar with not smartphones. Okay, so nowadays you are using smartphones, so you are very rarely using SMS service. Still, when you send SMS, normally in smartphones, the smartphone will reconstruct all these 10 messages together and it will display one message to you. But normally, when you go back to our traditional phones, when you send a single message, if it is really split into 10 SMS, the receiver can see clearly those 10 parts separately, okay, in their inbox. So that's because in packet switch networks there is no resource reservation. So when there is no resource reservation, every SMS will be traveled independently. So when travel independently without coordinating with one another, there is no guarantee that they will be received in the same order, received on time. Okay, sometimes you may get 9 SMS immediately, but 1 SMS after few hours also. So that happens because of this no resource reservation. Okay, so resources are only allocated on demand. So whenever you want to send something, when that SMS received by a from A to B, as you see in our previous case, there is 2 switches. So what happens is when A sends an SMS to S will see that okay, there is an SMS. Now only for this particular instance, I'm going to use one channel. Okay, I'm going to send that SMS to the second person. Immediately once it sends the SMS, this channel will be removed, reallocated. So the SMS will be allocated, I mean the channels will be allocated on time, okay, not in advance. So when it receives second SMS, let's say it may allocate some other channel for you instead of the previous channel. Let's say there are 10 channels. In the first SMS it will allocate first channel. For the second SMS it may allocate third channel. For third SMS it may allocate some fifth channel. For fourth SMS it may allocate first channel. So you can't guarantee which resources will be allocated to you for each and every SMS. So it's completely different. Okay, so if the message is going to pass through packet switch networks, it needs to be divided into packets of fixed size or variable size. So that's what we observe in SMSs. Okay, if you send a message, one message will be separated into multiple SMSs of equal sizes, instead of equal, let's say fixed sizes, the maximum size. Okay, so that is what is meant by this particular point. So here in our computer network, a message will be divided into packets instead of, as I said, SMS. Okay, so there are two major types of packet switching network. So one is datagram network and other one is virtual circuit network. Okay, so is it clear with this particular thing, this slide, packet switching? I repeat, is it clear with this packet switching? Then we will move to the datagram network. Okay, good. So let's move to the next slide, that is the actual datagram. So this is the datagram network example scenario. So as you can see in this datagram network, let's say A wants to communicate with X. So in between, we have a big datagram network. So in datagram networks, normally instead of switches, you will be something seeing called as routers. So they are called routers, but still they fall under switching elements only. Just give me a minute. Okay. Now, as you can see here, so when A wants to send something to B, there are multiple paths between A and B. So as you can see here, from A to B, let me draw all the paths. So this is path 1, okay, and this is path 2, and this is path 3, and there are more. Okay, so they are this one, or you can see this one. So there you can see, imagination is your limitation. You can see so many, paths when the network goes bigger and bigger. So if you look, just there are 5 nodes, still you got so many different paths from A to X. Now in packet switch network, what happens is, in particular datagram network, what happens is, when the user A sends a message which is divided into, let's say, 4 packets, the 4 packets may travel like this, which how it is shown in this diagram. So as you can see here, packet 1, you can see it is taking this path. Let's say, let's give names to these switches. Let's say this is router 1, this is router 2, this is router 3, this is router 4, this is router 5. Now what is the path taken here is, packet 1 goes through R1 to R2 to R5 to R4 to X. So it started from A, it went like that. Okay, if you take the second packet started at A, but it moves like R1 to R3 to R4 to X. If you take packet 3, it started at A and it went to R1, from R1 to R2, from R2 to R4, from R4 to X. If you take packet 4, as you can see, it went from A to R1, R1 to R5, R5 to R4. So as you can see here, there are two different times, okay, plays role here. One is how much time gap is there in between generation of packet 1 and generation of packet 2 and generation of packet 3 and generation of packet 4. Let's say each packet takes 5 seconds. So first packet generated at 0th second, second packet generated at 5th second, third packet generated at 10th second, fourth packet generated at 15th second. So are you able to understand what I am saying? So you can say there are four vehicles started at 4 different intervals. So first vehicle started at 0th hour, second vehicle started at 5th hour, third vehicle started at 10th hour, fourth vehicle started at 15th hour. Okay, are you able to understand what I am saying? Good. Now, let's say from router to router, it will take 5 seconds. Whatever the physical distance is, you may say R1 to R2, the distance is 4, R1 to R5, distance is less. But just imagine from every router to router, the packets will take these 5 seconds. Now, if you calculate according to this particular scenario, you can see packet 1 will take 20 seconds in between. Packet 2 will take only 15 seconds. Packet 3 will take only 15 seconds. Packet 4 will take only 15 seconds. Okay, so literally you may here, as you can see, the time decides who comes first and who comes later. Okay, so that is the effect of the path taken by each and every individual packet. So in this particular scenario where the example was shown, so these packets paths affected the order like this. First packet 1 came, okay, then this packet 4 came through the shortest path between R1 and R4. So packet 4 came, then packet 3, which took another, you can say, one direct path, came third, and packet 2 came fourth. Maybe here the traffic may be more, because of that reason it came very late. So as you can see, the packets went in 1, 2, 3, 4 direction, order, but the packet came in 1, 4, 3, 2 order. So the order is completely different. So that is what is happening in datagram network. So that is what is happening in even your SMS service also. When you send SMS, it may happen like this. So the order may be different, but even though you receive the SMS at different times in different order, you will see that entire message as a single message. Yes or no? సో మీకు ఒక SMS పంపించాను, ఒక మెసేజ్ పంపించానమ్మా, 4 SMS కింద స్ప్లిట్ అయ్యి వచ్చింది. 4 SMS ఈ విధంగా డిఫరెంట్ ఆర్డర్ లో వచ్చింది, పంపించిన ఆర్డర్ లో కాకుండా. బట్ స్టిల్ మీ ఫోన్ లో మీరు చూసినప్పుడు అది కరెక్ట్ గా కనిపిస్తుందా కనిపించదా? మై క్వశ్చన్. I repeat, when you send a message, the message is split into 4 SMS. So the 4 SMS traveled in different paths and 4 SMS arrived in different order. But now when you look at your SMS, will you see those 4 SMSs combined in proper order and display as a single message, or shown, let's say the 4 SMS means 4 lines. Hi, how are you? So something like that. Correct order only appear in our phone, proper order. Yeah, as you can see, few people are responding good. So As you can see, who will take care of that order means now the SMS service will not be care of the order is the application that you are using to watch the SMS. So the application will have something, some information in their received SMSs, okay, about their order. So previously, in olden days, what happened is the applications are not used to combine the messages. So what they are used to do is they are going to show the numbers in the beginning. సో 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4 అని చెప్పి చూపించేవాళ్ళం. సో దాన్ని బేస్ చేసుకుని ఈవెన్ we receive this order like 1432 order, still we are able to read, okay, so this is 1/4, this is 2/4. So after reading this 1/4, we need to read this 2/4, then we need to read this 3/4, then we need to read this 4/4. So that is how we used to work. At that time, the user has to take care. Now what's happening is, now the mobile application that you're running inside your mobile itself will take care of this order. So whatever happens in the lower layers, if the lower layer is not taking care of one particular duty, the above layers need to take care of that duty. Okay, so that is something like, so good. One person, 5 I not said some useful things. So who will do that is the presentation layer may take care of this. So the presentation layer, which is whose purpose is presenting the information properly, may take care of this, but I can't guarantee. That depends on what service you are using. Okay, so that is about datagram network. So let's go through the theoretical part now. So in a datagram network, each packet is treated independently. So these words are important, which I am underlining. Okay, so each packet is treated independently of all the other. So even if a packet is part of the multi-packet transmission, the network treats it as existed alone. So okay, with respect to network, it has no memory that these 4 SMS are together. So మీరు 4 individual SMS పంపించిన ఒకే మెసేజ్ 4 కింద స్ప్లిట్ అయి వెళ్ళినా అమ్మ, so those things will be treated in the same way. So for network, whatever network you are using, Airtel, BSNL, Jio, Idea, whatever it is, what they will see is they are receiving 4 SMS from your mobile. That's it. So they won't see that those 4 SMS are same, or those 4 SMS are actually 2 messages or 1 message, whatever it is. Okay, so these messages will be treated independently. So packets in this approach are referred as datagrams. Okay, so the proper name for datagram networks is datagram. So the individual parts of your message will be called as datagram. Okay, so datagram switching is normally done in network layer. So if you recollect our last class, we clearly said that circuit switching network is done by physical layer. Okay, datagram network will be done by network layer, and virtual circuit network will be done by data link layer. Okay, so here network layer. Okay, the datagram network sometimes referred to as connectionless networks also. As you can see here, is there any connection between A and X before sending the SMS? SMS పంపించడానికి ముందు A and X ఏమైనా కనెక్షన్ ఎస్టాబ్లిష్ చేశారా? సెండ్ చేసిన తర్వాత ఏమైనా డిస్కనెక్ట్ చేశారా? Obviously you can see there is no such thing here like in circuit switching network. That's the reason these things are called connectionless network. So as you can see now, we have 2 types of network: connection oriented networks and connectionless network. So circuit switching network falls under connection oriented, and this datagram network falls under connectionless network. Okay, so that is about the datagram network. So is it clear with this particular slide, Emma? Repeat, is it clear with this particular slide? Any response, guys? Get some response and move on. Is it clear with this particular slide or not? Is it clear with datagram networks or not? The basic working datagram network. I got only one response. What about the remaining? I will explain again. So as you can see here in datagram network, every okay, sorry for the inconvenience. Am I audible? Yes, I repeat. Am I audible? Okay, good. So just give me a minute. I'm setting up. Okay. So is it clear with this particular datagram network basic working? I repeat, is it clear with this datagram network basic working? Okay, good. Now, so I said every packet will be treated independently at each and every router. Let's say this is router. So this router will treat each and every packet individually, and it will decide which path to choose, right? So as you can see, this router somehow choosing this path for 1 and 3 packets, and this path when it receives 4th packet, and this path when it receives 2nd packet. Yes or no? So what happens? Why it is taking working like that? So let's see the actual working of a router. So as you can see, the router contains a table inside it. So a table which will tell when it receives a packet, the packet contains information. Information means the address. Okay, so where the packet is coming, where the packet is going. So as you can see, the important thing in our table is two things. So one is uh, uh, what is the destination address. So this is first point that is important in our table, and second point is how, sorry. So the first one is address. The second one is which path to choose to go out. So as you can see here, let's say X address is this 4150. When you receive a packet, it shows that okay, whenever you receive a packet for 4150, the packet must go out of this path 2. Okay, so this table tells you based on the destination how the packet needs to be going on. Now in our previous example we saw that every packet is taking different paths. So if what I said is right, what I said is this table will decide which path to choose. For address X, it always, you may think that it always having two, sir, then how it is taking different paths. So the thing is, this routing table is normally not static, it is dynamic. It will be updated every time whenever it sees some change in the network. So the change can be a new router can be added to the network, a router that is there in the network can be disconnected, or there is some heavy traffic in the network. Okay, so because of these things, this routing table will be keep on updating regularly. So you can't guarantee that this 2 will be always 2. Sometimes it may be 2, sometimes it may be 4, sometimes it may be 3. As long as it takes to X, it will choose one of those existing paths. It will not always tell that the outgoing path is 2. Okay, so that is the reason why every packet takes different paths. So when the first packet comes, it may look like 2. When the second packet comes, this 2 may be changed to some 5, not 5, let's say 4, since there are only 4 ports. So when it receives third packet, it may come back to 2. When it receives fourth packet, it may go back to let's say 3. So depending on when the packet is coming and what is the entry in the table at that particular time, this information will be changing. Okay, so that is what is the purpose of this routing table. So since there is no setup and tear down phases, how the packets are routed through their destination in the datagram network. So every router has this information. Okay, so as you can see here, every router is not telling you how to reach the destination, the complete path. What it is doing is, if you look at our previous diagram, as you can see in this diagram, when a packet received by this router will only tell what is the next node, what is the next router to go. So if it says you need to go through this particular link, that means it is saying that the router is this next router. When you come to this location, again you will inquire. It's something like when you go to a new location, what you will do. So in between, on your way, if you don't know that new locality, let's say the Google Maps are not there, you want to go to a specific location, you have not went to that particular location any time previously. So what happens is, you will take the address. Okay, first you will go to a place where you think from there is a 4-road junction. You will go to a person in the junction and you will ask them, sir, I need to go to so and so location, can you point out which route I should take? Yes or no? So when that person will tell you, so go through this path, you will reach a junction. At that junction, he may give you the entire path, like go straight in this road, then take the second left, there take the third right, then take the fourth left, and then go straight, then take a U-turn, something like that. They can tell you, yes or no? But it does not happen like that. A person can't remember the entire path. So normally the best option is, he can tell you, say, take this road, you will see a 4-road junction, ask someone there, they will tell you how to go. Okay, you will go further, there again a 4-road junction, then you will show that address to someone else, and you will ask that person, how to go to this particular so and so address. Again, what he will do is take this third road, okay, go straight till you see a junction. Okay, so again you will go straight, again you will see a junction, again they will ask someone there, they will point out to the correct path, then you will go further. So this will be repeated, yes or no? So that is the best option to go. So that's what is these routers also doing. So these routers will only tell you what is the next path. Okay, so when you go through that path, obviously will get to a junction, then you have a ambiguity how to go, then you will ask the router will point out to you which path to choose. So that's what is the purpose of this routing table. So in this type of network, each switch, which is called as packet switch or a router, contains a routing table which is based on the destination address. So the two columns are important columns are the destination address and the outgoing port. Okay, so we will discuss further about in depth about these routing tables in the coming units, network layer unit. Okay, so for now only remember these two columns. So the destination address in the header of the packet. So every packet needs header which contains address. ఇంతకు ముందు మన సర్క్యూట్ స్విచ్ నెట్వర్క్స్ లో చూసుకుంటే ఇన్ సర్క్యూట్ స్విచ్ నెట్వర్క్ దెర్ ఇస్ నో నీడ్ టు carry address in each and every character that we are sending or message that we are sending. In the beginning, while establishing the connection, you will decide that okay, I need a connection, so this is the path I am reserving for you. That is what the switches are going to do. So there is no need to carry the address in each and every information. ఓకే, సో మీరు నెంబర్ డయల్ చేసేది బిగినింగ్ ఏనమ్మా, కాల్ మాట్లాడేసరి ప్రతిసారి ఒక 1 సెకండ్ కో 10 సెకండ్స్ కో నెంబర్ రీడైల్ చేయండి అని ఎవరు అడగరు మిమ్మల్ని. సో దట్స్ వాట్ ఈస్ హ్యాపెనింగ్ ఇన్ కనెక్షన్ ఓరియంటెడ్ కమ్యూనికేషన్. సో ఇన్ దిస్ కనెక్షన్ లెస్ కమ్యూనికేషన్, every packet is treated independently. Since every packet is treated independently, so every packet must carry the destination address. So this destination address will be carried in the header. So the destination address in the header of a packet in the datagram network remains the same during the entire journey of the packet. So this destination address will not be changing. మీ చేతిలో ఉన్న పేపర్ మీద ఉన్న అడ్రస్ మారిపోదు, మీరు ఎన్ని పాత్స్ వెళ్ళినా ఎలా వెళ్ళినా. సో మీరు వెళ్ళే జంక్షన్ లో ఉన్న పర్సన్ బట్టి వాళ్ళ డిఫరెంట్ పాత్స్ చూపించవచ్చు, బట్ అట్ ద ఎండ్ యూ విల్ రిసీవ్ టు ద డెస్టినేషన్. సో ఫ్రమ్ ద బిగినింగ్ టు ద ఎండ్ యువర్ address paper, that visiting card will have the same address. So that is how these datagram networks are working. So if you take care of if you talk about the efficiency and delay in datagram network, so the datagram networks will work something like this. So you started at point A, you took the address, okay, you came out of your house, you reached a junction. At that junction you need to collect all the you need to first to gather all the information that started from A. Then from that entire information you need to extract the address. You need to show that address at this router. Okay, that router may be busy, the router may be already working on some other packets coming from some other route. Okay, so you need to wait for some time. After waiting that time, the router will tell okay, go in this path. So you will take your entire luggage, whatever is there with you, you will go in this direction. Again, once you reach completely at the second junction, again you need to wait. So the waiting time will vary from router to router, depends on how much work is there, how busy is that particular router. Okay, so మీ ఒక పల్లెటూరులో 4 రోడ్ జంక్షన్ దగ్గర ఉన్న ట్రాఫిక్, ఒక టౌన్ లో 4 రోడ్ జంక్షన్ దగ్గర ఉన్న ట్రాఫిక్, ఒక సిటీలో 4 రోడ్ జంక్షన్ దగ్గర ఉన్న ట్రాఫిక్ సేమ్ ఉంటుందా? Obviously not. In the same way, depending on how busy the router is, the waiting time may be more or less. Then again, once this waiting time is over, once it is your time, the router will tell okay, go in this direction to reach the B. Then again you will move further. So the waiting time varies here. So obviously the waiting time is more compared to our previous circuit switch network. So in circuit switch network, the waiting time is just 3t plus 3 tau. Okay, but here these waiting times are also included, W1, W2, and so on, WN, depending on how many routers are there in between. Okay, so transmission time, so let's say 3T is transmission time, 3 tau is time taken by one bit from going here to here. So this is tau. Okay, this is T. So 3 times T plus 3 times tau is the only thing that we saw in our previous case. Okay, that is circuit switch network. So here the total delay in datagram network is 3T plus 3 tau plus there are some other terms that are affecting your communication. So because of these things only, you can't guarantee that the packet will come in proper order also. Some packets will affected with less waiting time. Some packets may be affected with more waiting time. So obviously you will see the difference when you receive this. So the efficiency of a datagram network is better than that of a సర్క్యూట్ స్విచ్ నెట్వర్క్. సో బెటర్ అని ఎందుకు అంటున్నాం, ఇక్కడ మీకు రిసోర్స్ రిజర్వేషన్ జరగట్లేదమ్మా. ఎప్పుడైతే రిసోర్స్ అనేవి రిజర్వేషన్ జరగట్లేదో, సేమ్ రిసోర్స్ డిపెండింగ్ ఆన్ సే ఏ ఇస్ సెండింగ్ 100 SMS టు బి ఇన్ 1 day. సో ఆ 1 day మొత్తం రిసోర్స్ రిజర్వ్ చేస్తే దే ఆర్ కంప్లీట్లీ వేస్టెడ్. 1 day లో మీరు గట్టిగా 100 SMS అంటే 100 because of circuit, because of this packet switch network. I think there is some problem with the net connection. So am I audible? I saw a message that the network connection is unstable. So just give me a confirmation. Am I audible? Okay, good. So here in packet switch network, since the resources are not reserved, that resources can be taken by anyone else. Just imagine the one says CM entered into Tadapalligudem. So from the time the CM started on the road till the time the CM leaves a specific road, that road will be completely blocked for all the citizens, yes or no? Because the road is reserved for that VIP. So at that time, even though at some location say CM is on the road at this end, so whoever is here in this location where it will take at least 5 minutes to reach the convoy to this particular location. So within that 5 minutes, this road can be used by other persons. So, but what they will do, because of some protocols, because of some security reasons, or because of some other things, they will not allow others to use this road, even though they know that the road is free. So that is, you are wasting the resources. But in datagram network, what happens is you are not wasting the resources. So the efficiency of datagram network is better than that of a circuit switch network, because resources are allocated only when there are packets to be transferred. If there is no packets, you won't be allocating the resources. But delay is more in datagram networks also. So you can't say you can't get literally which a communication which is having high efficiency and less delay. Okay, so if you get that, means they are the best service provider. So whatever happens is, normally if you have more efficiency, you will be having more delay. If you have less efficiency, that means you may be having less delay. Okay, so that is about these are the two far ends. So in circuit switch networks, we have more efficiency, but we have in circuit switch networks we have less efficiency and we have less delay. In datagram networks, we have more efficiency and we have more delay. So whatever we are going to discuss later comes in between. It has the medium efficiency and it has medium delay. Okay, so this is about the datagram network. So is it clear till this particular point, the datagram network? So are you able to see the difference between circuit switch networks and datagram networks? So this is one important question. They ask you to explain, or you better note it down, circuit switched network versus datagram network. I'm not saying packet switch, datagram network, circuit switch network versus datagram network. So this question you may be asked. So obviously the important point that you need to stress out is the efficiency and delay. So these two things plays a very important role in that particular answer along with these diagrams. So this diagram shows how much delay is added by the same distance, same similar network. Okay, so as you can see, so these two are very important. So in this particular unit I can see in this topic, so two important questions. One is explain about virtual circuit network. The second question is differentiate between circuit switch networks and the datagram network, or compare between circuit switch networks and datagram networks. So two important questions. So I think it is, I hope from your replies I can see the circuit switch network and datagram networks comparison is okay with you. So let's move to the next one. So the next one is virtual circuit network. Okay, so before going into the working of virtual circuit network, let's see exactly what is meant by virtual circuit network. So a virtual circuit network, as I said previously in my last slide, is a cross between circuit switch network and datagram network. So circuit switch network and datagram network, if you take, it is less efficient, sorry, so more efficient and more delay. Datagram network is less efficient but we have less delay. Now in virtual circuit network it is going to be moderate. So in VRC network efficiency will be moderate. That means compared to circuit switch network, in virtual circuit networks, yeah, okay. Circuit switch network, datagram network. So in circuit datagram network, they are less, sorry, obviously I always get confused at this point. So they are more efficient and more delay, and circuit switch network are less efficient and here we have less delay. So even though I explain the same topic again and again, I always get confused at this particular point. Okay, so when you go to virtual circuit networks, in virtual circuit networks, we can say they are moderate in both terms. Okay, so they are moderate in terms of efficiency. That means compared to circuit switch networks, they provide better efficiency, but compared to datagram networks, they provide less efficiency. The second thing is the delay. In circuit switch networks, the delay is less, but in datagram network, it is more. In virtual circuit network, the delay will be somewhat moderate. Okay, so we are going to see how the virtual circuit network is going to get these things. So the circuit switch network is a cross between circuit switch network, virtual circuit network is a cross between circuit switch network and datagram network. Okay, so what are the similarities between these things? Let's see. So as in circuit switch network, the setup and tear down phase and data transfer phase will be there in the virtual circuit. So virtual circuit network is creating a circuit, but not physical circuit, but virtual circuit. So obviously, there you will be having a setup phase, you will be having a data transfer phase, you will be having a tear down phase. Okay, but even though it is a circuit network, circuit switch network, something like a circuit switch network, resources you can allocate in two different ways. So remember this word can, it is not you must. So you can allocate the resources if you want, or you can keep allocating the resources. That's up to your communication. If you want more efficiency, but I mean you want your communication to go with more delay, you can avoid allocating the resources. But if you are ready to sacrifice some resources, but you want very less delay, then you can allocate the resources. So this word plays a very important role, can. Okay, so as in datagram networks, data are packetized. So even though there is a setup phase, tear down phase, data transfer phase, and you can allocate resources, the communication is not a stream, it is packetized communication. So each packet carries address, but the address is not having global jurisdiction, it is local jurisdiction. Remember these points, you will be understanding what is meant by these terms when you get to know more about these virtual circuit networks. Okay, so as in circuit switch networks, all packets follow the same path. ఇప్పుడు మీకు అర్థమవుతుందమ్మా ఇక్కడ ఉన్న కంపారిజన్స్ ఏంటో. సో సర్క్యూట్ స్విచ్ నెట్వర్క్ లో ఉన్నట్టు మనకి కనెక్షన్ ఎస్టాబ్లిష్మెంట్, కనెక్షన్ డేటా ట్రాన్స్ఫర్, కనెక్షన్ టర్మినేషన్ అనే 3 థింగ్స్ వర్చువల్ సర్క్యూట్ నెట్వర్క్స్ లో ఉన్నాయి. అండ్ రిసోర్స్ అలొకేషన్ అనేది సర్క్యూట్ స్విచ్ నెట్వర్క్ లో చేయొచ్చు, లేదా డేటాగ్రామ్ నెట్వర్క్ లో అవాయిడ్ చేయొచ్చు, దట్స్ అప్ టు యూ. అండ్ సర్క్యూట్ స్విచ్ నెట్వర్క్ లో ఎలాగైతే డేటా మొత్తం ఒకే రూట్ లో వెళ్తుందో, ఇక్కడ మనకి వర్చువల్ సర్క్యూట్ నెట్వర్క్ లో కూడా డేటా మొత్తం ఒకే రూట్ లో వెళ్తుంది, ఈవెన్ దో యూ హ్యావ్ నో ఫిజికల్ పాత్ ఇన్ బిట్వీన్ ద సెండర్ అండ్ రిసీవర్. ఓకే, అండ్ డేటాగ్రామ్ నెట్వర్క్ లో ఎలాగైతే డేటాని మనం ప్యాకెటైజ్ చేస్తున్నామో, వర్చువల్ సర్క్యూట్ నెట్వర్క్ లో కూడా మనం డేటాని అలాగే ప్యాకెటైజ్ చేస్తున్నాం. సో ఇట్ ఈస్ సంథింగ్ లైక్ ఎ క్రాస్ బిట్వీన్ circuit switch network and datagram network. Okay, so as I said previously, the the virtual circuit network is implemented in data link layer. Okay, so are you able to just able to get these points? Not completely understand, but at least you will get are you able to get these points what I just said? You will see what exactly, you will understand them more elaborately when I go to the next slides and I explain those things. So look here. So as I said, virtual circuit network carries local addresses, not global addresses. Okay, so what is meant by, just give me okay, sorry for the inconvenience. So here, as you can see in virtual circuit networks, we have 2 types of addressing. So here, as you can see, we have 2 types of addressing. One addressing is global address, another one is virtual circuit identifier, a local address. So as you can see here, so instead of explaining this slide, just let me go further. Yeah. So I will come back to this slide at the end. So first, let me explain these things. So in virtual circuit networks, as I said previously, we have 3 phases: setup phase, data transfer phase, and tear down phase. Okay, so as you can see, in setup phase, in particular the first phase, these are the steps that are going to happen. In setup phase, a switch creates an entry for the virtual circuit. That means, see, what happens is, in virtual circuit networks, we have something like this table. So this table is a secondary table. We have one table previously that we discussed. So the table is called the routing table. Okay, so routing table lo meer observe cheste manaki em untayamma, destination address and outgoing path. Yes or no? Or you can say the port number. So if you see a destination, let's say B ki vellali ante the port is, let's say, 4th port. So ikkada ee router దగ్గర చూస్తే let's say 3rd port. B ki vellali ante the port is port number 3. So this is what is there in the routing table. So this address is a global address. So మనం ఏదైతే రౌటింగ్ టేబుల్స్ లో చూస్తామో, so that address is called global address. So global address has global significance. That means you can't have two people who are having the same global address. Okay, so global address అనేది ఎప్పుడైనా సరే మనకి యూనిక్ గా ఉండాలి. సో ఇప్పుడు మనకి నార్మల్ గా ఏమవుతుందంటే, మన డేటాగ్రామ్ నెట్వర్క్ లో ఒక ప్యాకెట్ వెళ్ళేటప్పుడు ఈ గ్లోబల్ అడ్రస్ లో ఈ పోర్ట్ చేంజ్ అవ్వడం వల్ల మనకు ఒక ప్యాకెట్ ఒక రూట్ లో వెళ్తే వేరే ప్యాకెట్ వేరే రూట్ లో వెళ్ళదు. దట్ మీన్స్ ఒక డేటాగ్రామ్ ఒక పార్ట్ చూస్ చేస్తే వేరే డేటాగ్రామ్ వేరే పార్ట్ కంప్లీట్ గా చూస్ చేసే ఛాన్స్ ఉంటుంది బికాస్ ఆఫ్ దిస్ రౌటింగ్ టేబుల్. సో వాట్ వీఆర్ డూయింగ్ ఈస్ వీఆర్ ఓన్లీ యూజింగ్ దిస్ రౌటింగ్ టేబుల్ ఇన్ ద ఫస్ట్ ఫేజ్. సో ఇన్ ద ఫస్ట్ ఫేజ్ మీన్స్ ఇన్ ద సెటప్ ఫేజ్. సో సెటప్ ఫేజ్ లో ఎలా యూజ్ చేస్తామంటే, సెటప్ ఫేజ్ లో వీఆర్ గోయింగ్ టు యూజ్ దిస్ రౌటింగ్ టేబుల్ టు ఫిల్ దిస్ secondary table. So this is, you can say, VC table, virtual circuit table. So every switch will be having two tables. One is the routing table, another one is this virtual circuit table. So what this virtual circuit table contains is, it contains 4 columns. So 2 columns are for incoming information, 2 columns for outgoing information, and every column is like a port and VCI, port and VCI. Okay. So what happens is, in your routing table, you know, to go to B, there is a specific path at that instant. So you received a packet from A to B. So in the setup phase, you will be sending a request packet. Okay, so that is called setup request. A request packet which carries the information, source address and destination address. So this packet comes to, let's say, switch 1. So switch 1 will look inside the routing table. Okay, so along with this information, it also carries one VCI, virtual circuit identifier, a small local address. So local address అంటే ఇప్పుడు ఇక్కడ నుంచి ప్యాకెట్ వస్తుంది కదమ్మా, this A. So A carries A, B, request, and let's say 14. This 14, how we are going to decide, we will see. Let's say A నుంచి మనకి 14 అనే నెంబర్ తో ఒక ప్యాకెట్ వచ్చింది. సో ఈ ప్యాకెట్ మనకి ఏ పోర్ట్ లోంచి లోపలికి ఎంటర్ అవుతుంది స్విచ్ కి. సో ఇట్ ఈస్ ఎంటరింగ్ త్రూ ద పోర్ట్ 1. సో వాట్ యూ విల్ డూ ఈస్, ఇన్సైడ్ దిస్ టేబుల్ you will feel that, okay, I received a packet from A with port number 1, from port number 1, let's say the port number 1, and the received VCI number is 14. So let's say the 14. Now I need to forward this packet out. Okay, so you need to forward this packet out. So you will send this packet. So but while sending the packet, what you will do is, you will add sorry. Good. So what you will do is, you will send this packet. So while sending the packet, see, this 14 actually not comes here, my mistake, small thing, just give me a minute. So a setup request packet contains address of A and B. Okay, so address of A and B means this is global address. So this is source address, this is destination address. So this packet comes to you, which is having a routing table. So this routing table contains destination address and port number. So B, port number 3. So when you receive this packet, you will see, okay, the packet is coming from A, the packet is going to B. Okay, so let's allocate a number to it. So you allocate 14 to it, and you will send that packet further. Okay, so when you send this packet further with A and B, so B also receives, B also contains A and B, and the packet entered, you are sending it through port number 3. As you can see in the routing table, you have this port number 3. So you are going to use this port number 3. but you are not filling this column. So this column will be empty when you send setup request. So మీరు ఓన్లీ ఒక నెంబరే డిసైడ్ చేస్తున్నారమ్మా. మీ స్విచ్ లో మీరు డిసైడ్ చేస్తున్న నెంబర్ ఎంత అంటే 40. So you are sending it further. So the packet will be received by this second switch. So this second switch look inside its routing table and it will see, okay, this packet need to forward through 2. So it will send it to through, but it will update the routing entry. So it came through port number 1. It is going out of port number 2. Yeah, source address and destination address both are global for now. Okay, 5M3 is asking me the doubt. So source address and global address both are global for now. So those both are important. So destination address ఎందుకంటే ప్యాకెట్ ముందుకు వెళ్ళడానికి, గ్లోబల్ source address ఎందుకంటే రిప్లై ప్యాకెట్ వెనక్కి రావడానికి. So switch to gave this number 66 to this particular entry, okay, and it forwarded the packet. Now switch 3 gave 22 and it came through 2 and it is sending it through 3 and it is sending it further. So switch when B receives the information, it will remember that in its virtual circuit table, it will remember that, okay, I received a information from A, okay, through port number 3 and I am assigning address 77. Okay, so what it will do is it will send a reply with this 77. Now see, it's already 11. What I will do is I'm going to stop this discussion here. I'm going to restart the same discussion at 12 o'clock, okay, because I don't want any disconnection between the complete discussion. Okay, unless you know about both things, you can't understand these things. Okay, so just take a break of this 1 hour. At 12 o'clock we again join the session. I think you received the second mail also, so which is the class scheduled at 12 AM. So joined through that link back at 12 PM. Okay, so I will close the session now. If you have no doubts, you can leave. If you have any doubts about virtual circuit network, just keep your doubts with you. We will be having a session, discussion at the end of the next session. Okay, if you have any doubts with datagram networks or circuit switch networks, you can ask. Otherwise, you can leave.